Hello everyone, I am Wendy with Winds of Change Ministries, and I can see that the wind is still pushing the water upstream. In the last video I pointed this out and I said that was the wrong way. Actually, it's upstream, okay? And so I was wondering, or as I was thinking about this, it's the top surface of the water that is getting pushed upstream. And as many people know, we as individuals vibrate on a certain frequency. There are some of us who are pretty negative and pessimistic, and they vibrate on a low frequency. And then there are those of us who ascend to a higher frequency, okay? And so here's the hidden message. As the winds of change push that water upstream, okay, that is those who are vibrating on the higher frequency, and those individuals are going to be able to see the hand of God perform miracles, all right? As the winds of change push those with higher frequencies upstream. Meanwhile, those with lower negative frequencies are going to continue to follow their ordinary lives and just flow downstream. All right, so that's kind of a neat hidden message. As many of you know, we are approaching the March 3rd 3-3 portal. And I wasn't really sure what exactly that meant in the sense of esoteric type beliefs. I didn't know. All right, I let God teach me. I'm not a student of other belief systems. I let God teach me, and then when He brings me something as confirmation, then I accept it to be true. And anyway, I had some divine teachings over the last 24 hours. So after my birthday on February 27th, so we were now on the 28th, I had an incident with an individual in my home. So here's the backstory. As some of you guys who have been following me, you know that I traveled during the month of January from state to state, and I was sharing the message of the winds of change and with my flag, and I allowed a man to live in my house while I was gone, and this guy was going to rent free. All he had to do, was some yard work and then do some repairs around the house and everything. And anyway, the deal was for 2 months, and when I came back at the beginning of February, I saw that he had done some work, but maybe like 25% of what I wanted done. And so for the last month, I have been trying to, it's been cold and snowy, and I didn't push the issue at all for several weeks. But this last week, it was time, and the weather had turned, and it was turning nice, and it was time to get some things done. And so I started approaching him about, hey, when can we connect and get some stuff done? And he told me that his work schedule, because he works at a restaurant, and as you know, those schedules they flop around. Anyway, he said that he doesn't have a certain schedule, and I said, well, that's fine, but on days that you're off, we really do need to start knocking out some of these things that need to be done. And I told him, he just gave me one excuse after another, and it was like every time I went down to talk to him, to just have a hey, how you doing? What's going on today? Conversation. I wasn't being rude. I was just saying, what's going on? Hey, can we get something done today? I wasn't being pushy. Just talk to me. What's going on? Every time he wanted to start an argument with me, I was like, look, I'm not trying to argue with you. And he was pointing the finger, you. Like, why haven't I been doing anything? And first of all, I don't owe him an explanation. As you guys know, I am busy doing, you know, videos, and I've been in meditation, and I've been experiencing my own ascension journey symptoms and different things like that. And I told them, look, I don't owe you an explanation, okay? I don't owe you anything. But anyway, since you are curious, I'll just tell you it's been cold as heck. It's been cold, and I didn't want to go out and work, and I wasn't requiring you to. I didn't ask you to, but things are getting warmer, so let's move beyond what was and focus on today. Let's focus on today. Anyway, and that same conversation happened a couple times, and I just said, look, just every day, if you don't mind, just connect with me. Tell me what your schedule is that day, and let's just try to get something done if we're able to. Or or if you cannot help me, then you can start paying rent. Either way, I don't care. But things need to get done or pay rent, one of the two. So several days came and went, and he still never connected with me. So I went downstairs and I asked him, I was like, look, 3 days have come and gone, and you have not connected with me. What's going on? He told me that he had decided that he was going to go ahead and move out. Now, mind you, he's been living in the house for a month, almost a month. I've been back, and he hasn't done jack crap. And I was like, well, that's fine. You can move out. That's fine. Just be out by the 1st of the month. So I was giving him several days to pack his stuff and leave. So, and I didn't want him to think I was angry. I was like, if that's your decision, that's fine. That's fine. Just be sure you're out by the 1st of the month. And the next day, on my birthday, I even prepared a meal, a big family meal for me and my son, and I invited him to fix himself a plate, which he did. He even came back and got seconds. I wasn't trying to be ugly. I didn't want there to be any negative energy between us. That was on the 27th. The 28th was the last day of the month. I went downstairs and I noticed that he wasn't there. I figured, well, maybe he's at work or something. And I sent him a message. I said, hey, today's the last day of the month. When are you planning on moving out? And several hours went by and he never responded. And then and I went about my day, and then I noticed he did respond. He finally responded, and he says, I know what day it is, and I'll be out by tonight. And I thought that was a bit snappy. I was just letting them know what day it was, because it is a short month, and maybe he wasn't aware that the 28th was the last day of February. Just, a friendly reminder. And anyway, to that, I responded to his ugly, snappy remark. I said, okay. Yeah, that's okay. As long as you're out, by tonight, that's fine. Then I noticed, because this was on Facebook Messenger, I noticed immediately after I sent the okay, he blocked me. And that really aggravated me, because, I have bent over backwards trying to accommodate this guy, and for him to flat out block me, I just thought was rude. So I went downstairs. I wanted to see what progress he was accomplishing, because he was home now, and he had everything packed. And I said, I was really glad and impressed. I was glad that he had everything packed. I asked him, hey, do you need some help moving this out? Because he's in my basement. Do you need some help moving some of these boxes? So once again, I was trying to help, and he said no. And he said that someone was coming to pick him up, and because he doesn't have a vehicle. I was like, okay. And I just asked, who's coming? Because I'm very protective of who I allow in my house. He told me, it isn't your business. I don't feel like I have to tell you anything. I said, you don't have to tell me anything, but if you don't tell me who it is, that person isn't coming in my house because I don't let strangers in my house. To this, he said, you are a controlling blah, 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 and cussed me out. And then I looked at him and I said, well, do you want to know what you are? And he said, an asshole. He knew he was being a jerk. This was a test. Was I going to lower myself to his standard? Was I going to allow him to bring out the ugly in me? Yeah, it was a test. I told him, you are no longer welcome in my house. Get your shit and move the fuck out. Yep. He didn't lower me to his standard, but I knew with his level of negative energy, I had to be a stone wall and let him know that I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to reduce myself to that level, but I will go toe to toe with you. Anyway, so that was a test and I passed it. And then this morning I had a dream. I was in a dark maze. It was very dark. And I traveled to one end of this labyrinth. And in this dark maze, there was like an aura of red. It was all black, but I knew it was red. I knew that area of this maze was red. Then I traveled to another area of the dark maze. And once again, it was black. But I was learning things. I knew that in this maze, which by the way is life, right? I knew that that area was blue. And then I came somewhere in the middle. And when I did, this dark area represented purple. So it was the middle ground. And once I came to this area, I saw an image of something, which was strange. Very strange, okay, symbolic. I saw a woman who was laying on the floor and she had her legs up in the air like a V, okay? So she was laying on the floor, she had her legs up in the air like a V, and in between that V, in the background of that, was the center of the universe. All right, like on the wall behind her. And it went all the way down to her, her yoo-hoo, okay? So, the center of the universe was, yes. So we have the galactic mother, right? The divine opening, the center of the universe of creation, which is feminine. And that was this dream. And so I knew that this was very symbolic of something. And when I got on my YouTube today, I saw a video, and it looked I had been seeing a couple of these videos from this person over the last week, and it was talking about the 3/3 portal, March 3rd portal. And I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. And it was esoteric teachings and the significance of the 3/3 portal. To many people, it doesn't mean anything. They're going to go live their normal lives, and it doesn't mean anything to them. But for a few people, the chosen ones who aren't a part of a secret society, who the divine universe has been preparing for this moment, those people, they are initiates. Okay, that's what they called it. They are initiates. The video called it, and I know that I was being initiated because I had a dream several years ago about walking into a building where I had to walk between a woman's legs, and basically her yoo-hoo was the door to that building. And in this dream, I was selected as a chosen one, and I ascended amongst the masses who were in that room. Okay, so I can put the pieces together, and I know that this video was definitely talking to me. I don't go looking for this information. It comes to me. And one of the things it says is you'll have dreams where you see certain symbolisms that don't make sense to you. And but they have deep meaning. And I have had dreams that didn't make sense to me, and it was only because I had the dream that I did a little bit of research and discovered, the meaning of some of this stuff. And so I knew that this video was very important and I needed to watch it. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of feed you some of the main points. And basically, we're entering a significant portal, and people who step through it have the potential of becoming their higher selves. And I shared in a video a couple days ago where I saw and met my higher self, and that person was dressed in purple. All right, so this morning I had a dream where I was in an area that was red, then I was in an area that was blue, and then I was in the area that was purple. All right, so and yes, a couple of days ago, or a week ago, I had that dream where I met my higher self who was dressed in purple. So I know that I am being invited to become my higher self. And that woman is very powerful. She is no nonsense, but she is full of love. And so anyway, I'm going to give you the meat and potatoes of preparation for this portal. So we all know that we are on a evolutionary journey within ourselves. I'm not talking about evolving from monkeys, okay? I'm talking about we ourselves. We were born into this earth. Things happened to us. They injured us, whatever. We're dealing with. A lot of us have psychological traumas and different things like that. Post-traumatic stress syndrome, all kinds of problems, okay? Relationship problems, whatever. And but now, see, that was just to help us identify problems in the world. Now we have an opportunity to ascend and become teachers to help humanity, okay? So here's the thing. We're all evolving. And so over the course leading up to the 3-3 portal, which would begin on March 2nd at evening through March 3rd, okay? That is when it actually begins, is at evening on March 2nd. But what you need to do is look at the person you were when you were younger, right? Kind of examine what kind of person were you. Don't just really look in the mirror, because if we don't lie to ourselves, many of us will realize that we were a cause, or at least it takes two to tango. We played a role in the outcomes of our relationships and different things, okay? We played a role in it. Very rarely are we 100% victims. In most cases, we participated, all right? Whether that is by being too timid. I could have been victimized yesterday. I could have let that guy build up in his rage to where he physically lashed out to me. But I met him toe to toe. And I told him, what I did. I told him, and I was firm, and I backed it up. I said, look, I'm not afraid to call the cops. And I knew I needed to tell him that right away, because his behavior was completely uncalled for. And that could have escalated. He needed to know I had to be strong. I'm not a pushover. In years past, I might have let someone mistreat me. not anymore. No, 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 not anymore. So, so we got to know who we were, and we got to know who we are, and we've got to know who we want to become. Okay? And these are things we need to really think about and meditate. Write it down. Really understand who you were, who you are, and who you want to become. And then prepare to experience the winds of change perform a miracle in your life. All right? Now, I can tell you for myself, I have been single for many, many, many years. All right? I think I'm like 7.5 years now I've been single. And I don't want to be single. But I'll be damned if I let an asshole in my life. Now, this guy and I, we weren't dating. We had, but for some reason he felt like he could talk to me as if we were or something. Like he had some right in my house. He didn't have any right, none. He was there purely out of the generosity of my heart. And because I saw that we had the potential of helping each other out. I needed some help doing some man's work around the house, and he didn't want to be that man. He just wanted to be a free loafer. So he had to go. I would like to have a man in my life, but just like I've learned to master my energy and protect my energy, I need a man who can protect my energy as well by mastering his own. You got to master your own energy. Are you a hothead? Or have you learned to let the small things, beat off your back, brush it off your shoulder? This is what people need to do, to become the best version of yourself. You can't allow you've got to have a strong barrier around you. I've got a strong bubble around me. And I know that I have a spiritual team that protects me and doesn't let certain people approach me. They can't approach me because they're no good for me. So my spirit team keeps them at bay. They can't get any closer to me than a certain distance. And even if they want to. But now if I walk through this portal, I have to be that barrier and say no. I'm not gonna be around that. I'm not gonna be around that. And I know that once I do this, I know that it's gonna cause people who would like to be around me to either make changes within themselves, or God's gonna bring new people. And so I'm stepping out on faith, and I'm going to be pushing away people who cannot control their energy, who cannot control their temper, until they're able to. And I have complete faith that they will either evolve into their higher version, or God will provide a replacement for them. All right, well, that's all I have to say. My name is Wendy.